Welcome back to M Hood Fishing. The man with the flashlight is still back there. Yeah, you're right. Sounds like a train is parked right in front of me. The ferry is back. Plaquemines Pride, it says over there. Yeah, you're right. And look, river's much lower. Thought I would come here, you know what for? Skipjack, white bass. It's just below 6 feet. You can see the rocks I talk about. They were under the water the last few times I came here, but now you can see them. We could walk right out to them. But when I was at the house getting things together, as soon as I got on the bike and rode off, I had this feeling that I was forgetting something, and I went through a list mentally and I was like, no, I didn't forget anything. And then I get here and I look down at my feet and I'm like, oh, that's right, I did forget something. I got the wrong shoes on. I can get these wet. I just don't like getting my sandals wet. I don't like the way they feel wet. I forgot to put my water shoes on. But such is life. I know I got skipjack here, and I know I can fish the sabiki here. Well, let's fish a little white whopper plopper, a topwater bait first. See what happens. I'm gonna walk along the edge of the water first, not because I'm chicken shit about getting these sandals wet, but these were all underwater, and I want to see if anything I lost previously is visible. Ooh, water is warm, very warm. It's kind of a hot day, not too bad, but not too great, right? It is in the upper 80s still, very humid. I'm walking slowly, feeling the ground. Sometimes when the river's been super high, it'll silt in a spot and make the ground sinky. Not fun to walk on, right? Definitely some fish hanging out, feeding off of the shrimp here, as per usual. It's not crazy, but there's fish here. Sabiki time. Yeah, you're right. I'll just tie the lead onto the bottom. I'm missing a few sabikis, but it'll still work. Second cast with the new lead, and we're wasted. But we got it free, not wasted. A ship just went up rivers. It's going to give us a wake that's probably going to up the activity through here. It's always the ships going downriver that really do that, but we will have some uptick in activity. I'm already seeing it. I'm using a sabiki that has chartreuse. It's a fish skin style sabiki, but the skins, the wings are chartreuse, and we just hit something very snaggy in here. Might not be able to get this back. I think we may have, there's some maritime rope stuck here, some old rope. That could be what we're on. No, we got off it. At this point, I'm wondering if I'm even going to get a video. I've fished this spot many times. I've come here before and it was just disastrous. Even times when you come here and it looks perfect, it was still disastrous. There was something going on with the current. You kept hitting snags and whatever. And then you come here sometimes, or many times actually, you come here and maybe you lose a sabiki, but you leave with 18 skipjack, a few white bass, or you at least come here and you catch a ton of little white bass and a few skipjack. But I haven't even had a bite tonight, so this is probably one of those nights where I'm either going to show you a shitty ass skunk video or I'm not showing you a damn thing. Probably going to be closer to the lines of I'm not showing you anything. I'm not releasing this video. I'm just talking to myself at this point because no one's watching. Anyway, this is the plan. ditching the white whopper plopper for this blue and silver torpedo. See, the bottom is silver. I've caught white bass on this particular bait, this smaller one. I have the bigger version. It's twice this size in the box, but we're going to go with the smaller one. We're going to stick with top water. We're just going to do this one, I think. Just walk around. I've had top waters work here before, but I'm going to just do the top water because if I make a dumb cast, I'll lose it. But if I don't make any dumb casts, if I don't throw this right into harm's way, I'm not going to lose anything. There's little white bass feeding in this one area. Some of them are a little bigger, some are a little smaller, but I think we need to go from a top water to something a little different, something that's still reflective. Maybe this little jerk bait. I think it might be a sinking jerk bait. And then I think it might behoove us to tie up one of my other rods with an even smaller bait. But I don't think that smaller bait has to be a hard bait. I think it would be better if it was something different. Perhaps something like this. It's a knockoff Meps. I forgot to mention earlier that it's the new moon tonight. Sometimes fishing on the night of the new moon isn't that great. Let's throw this first. I'm not a big fan of knockoff Meps. I use them, I catch fish with them, yes, but they also suck. They don't always track that well, right? There we go, we got a fish though. See, I told you they catch, but they don't always work great. Worked good that time. There we go. I had to use a sucky bait to make a video happen here. Well, there we go, we got a nice white bass. That's nice enough to keep. Spots like this, it hurts, there's heartbreak. And then you overcome, but just barely, with one fish. But the thing is, I've been to this spot so many times and I've overcome it so much better than I have tonight. But it just dragged me through it tonight. I just threw everything I had at it and I just got the one fish. Maybe it's the new moon, maybe it's just the level, who knows, but I got something, and now I want to go home. And will you meet me there? I got here and you weren't here. I said, meet me here, but you didn't show up. There was no one here but 2 dogs when I got here. I'm kind of glad, because I don't want anybody to meet me here. Like, don't ever come knocking on the door if you're not invited, right? Yeah, you're right, but you're here now, aren't you? Yeah, you're right. So yesterday was laundry day, right? Yeah, you're right. So you know what I had yesterday? Well, if you wait several days, you'll see, because I made it on Hood Discovered. Go over there, check that out, and you'll see where I made what I'm gonna be working with today, this morning, because it is morning time. It's like 2:30 in the morning. The traffic's already starting to pick up outside. It's not too bad, but it's picking up. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We're doing something really traditional, right? That's what I did yesterday. I made red beans. I made vegan red beans. And as you do, you know, when you make red beans throughout the week, you may have them to eat, unless you had a bunch of people eating on them yesterday. So yeah, yesterday was laundry day. I just made a pot of beans while I was working in here doing laundry, cleaning, vacuuming. It was an intense work day in the house, getting ready for a big project coming up, and I just needed to get all that out of the way. Yep. Got a big project coming up, replacing the rear hub of my Zebra that's in the back room. That motor is finally here, and I will be working on that real soon. Yeah, you're right, but right now let's work on this fish. So this is a tradition, right? Vegan red beans is not that common in everybody's house where they do red beans. It's usually like got meat in it, right? But as an accompaniment, fried fish with the red beans. We didn't have anything but rice and red beans and then bread. But now today we're gonna fry some fish and have with our vegan red beans. Not the biggest white bass, but for one person who doesn't have a huge appetite at the moment, along with some red beans and some rice and a piece of bread with some butter on it, can't go wrong. Let's get these fillets off this fish and move on. First we're going to do this. I'll show you one side, right? I'll never take the scales off. I'm just going to do a cut, an angle cut right like that. And then because the side that it's on, I'll start up here. But when I flip this fish over, I'll start from the other side. It's just easier for me that way. And I'm bringing that tip down right along the rib cage. Trying to get tight to the spine. There we go. And now we want to come up and feel where that rib, can't talk all of a sudden. And then we plunge and we finish the other side of the spine. We'll come down, flip it like this, right? We're just kind of riding that blade down that rib cage till we got some slack in the skin right there. You see that slack in the skin right there? That means we could just cut through that skin right down, and there we go. This is our first fillet. Okay, so next thing I do, put that to the side. This is easy peasy. I'm just going to take it right off the skin, holding back here with my fingers. You never want to do this. You'll mess up if you do that. Plus you could cut yourself. So if your fingers holding the skin down to the surface behind the knife, this knife could be sharpened, but you see we're coming through there just fine. Got to keep the knife flat. Don't have a cut like right like that down. Cut flat parallel to the surface. That's not bad. Not bad. Here we go. Nice big jar of these are really good. I did a good job. Got a nice kick to them. Again, in a few days, towards the end of the month here of July, if you want to know how I make these, how I made this right here, just tune in to M Hood Discovered. Yeah, you're right. Here we go. I'm not that hungry, so I'm just gonna heat up a little bit. I've got some rice heating up right now. I bet people are already down there typing, "You don't fry fish in olive oil." You can actually, so get down there and delete that, because yes, but you don't use a high heat, but it, yeah, is good. It's good. A little fillet like that, little fillets like that, it don't take long. Couple of minutes per side. Everything's right on time. This rice, it's the Japanese school kid rice, okay? It's white and it's brown mixed together. That's what they eat for lunch over there. And I like it too. It's healthy and it's a great way to introduce brown rice to your family because it doesn't look like brown rice when you mix those two together. When it comes out, that looks just like white rice to most people, and it tastes just a little different. Taste isn't much different. And now we're adding these red beans. They are fire, let me tell you, they are good. I did a good job on these red beans. Watch out, Tulsa. Look at that. That looks good. Right there. And right there. Right on top of them beans. Look at this. Let me get it right for you. That's the only condiment. Some people in different parts of the South, I know in Texas too, they like different relishes on their fish. Some people it's just like catfish, right? This is sweet and sour red cabbage. I remember down in outside of Houston and around Beaumont, restaurants where they specialized in fried catfish, they always had green tomato relish. This was when I was a kid. I haven't found it anywhere. It's just a memory of when I was a kid. Green tomato relish. It was at this catfish restaurant. And it was pretty good, but I haven't had it anywhere else. I've heard about it. People have said, oh, they got it here in Carolina, or they got it in Georgia. But I haven't found it anywhere in Texas, and I haven't found it in Louisiana, but I hear people talk about it when I bring it up. And it's always an old timer. It's always something from way back when, and it's no longer around, right? Or people don't make it anymore. But this Aunt Nellie's, I always want to say Aunt Sally's, I don't know why. Is that a praline? Aunt Nellie's red cabbage, sweet and sour red cabbage. This is good. Sure is. Can't even tell that these are yesterday's red beans. Yeah, you're right. It's a great affordable thing, but I'm kind of preaching to the choir because a lot of people watching this video already do this. They have red beans maybe once a week. It's just a thing here. Maybe what I'm going to say next rub you the wrong way. Not my favorite bean though. I did not grow up around here. I'm not from around here. So when I was growing up, it wasn't red beans once a week. It was other beans. It was a lot of beans throughout the week. Mostly pinto and butter beans. A lot of butter beans. And then occasionally kidneys like these red beans. Yeah, you're right. And as I traveled across this country, I would encounter red beans in different ways. When I lived in New York, when I was really young, when I was 17, and then when I was 19, I had things, red bean stuff when I was 17 and when I was 19. I was traveling when I was 18. So it was red bean cake. My first bike messenger job, the pay was horrible. It was a bad company. I worked for them for a while, and then I moved on to a much better company with higher pay, better dispatchers. This was back in the 90s. But anyway, at that shitty company, can't remember the name of it, probably didn't last long. A lot of those bad companies just were fly by night. They gave you a certain amount of money each day in the morning when you showed up, and it was supposed to cover, they called it car fare, but it was really for the subway, and it was something minuscule, right? It was a couple dollars. It was supposed to be for like, if I was a bike messenger, but if you wanted to cheat, jump ahead, you could jump on the subway with the bike. Pain in the ass to do that sometimes, but sometimes it behooved you to do that. But I never did that. I just took, because, you know, I just used it as breakfast money. There was this deli run by Japanese people next to where the office was, where the dispatch office was. It was like above the Chelsea, right? And I could get a bean cake and a cup of coffee. I think coffee was like 50 cents and the bean cake was like 30 cents. It sounds like I'm talking about the 50s, but when I first lived in New York, coffee was really cheap. We're talking like a small cup of coffee, like a regular cup. Pretty legendary cup of coffee, you know, it says I love New York on it. I heart New York. You could get that size cup of coffee. It's just a regular cup of coffee. Pretty common to get it for 40 cents, and then it went up to 50 cents. Some places at the time, depending on what neighborhood you were in, maybe it cost a little more. But yeah, you get this red bean cake for about 30 cents or something. And it's really dense. It's about this big around, like a hockey puck. About like that. About that thick. It's kind of sweet. Just red bean paste. Similar to these red beans. But not these exact red beans. And that was my breakfast. Every morning. That was one horrible company to work for. Dispatchers just were stupid with how they routed you. And then when I went over to Breakaway, the routing was so much better. They didn't have you ping-ponging all over the place. Have you pick up, drop off. Easy peasy routing. But you had to remember all this, or you could write it down, but you just keep it in your mind. I would write down some addresses. If you had a pager that they could connect with you on, the information could be there, but I didn't. You're just working with a payphone. You go to the phone, he gives you a certain amount of go here, go there. You go there, you go here, you pick up, and you got to drop off here, drop off there. What was easy peasy, once you picked up where you were going, the address was on the package. You just had to remember where you're going to pick up that package. And after a while, it gets easier and easier because you're going to a lot of the same places. You're familiar. You become really, really familiar. Wasn't getting paid by the hour, getting paid by the delivery, by the package, by the parcel, by the run. So to make a living, you had to get up super early to get the best routes, right? Super early. You start running right before dawn, like at pre-dawn, like you're going fishing, right? That's the morning rush, and it's over by 11, sometimes earlier. If you get at it too late, you ain't gonna get shit. You ain't gonna make a living, because you need to make a living at that time. I could get by on 20 runs a day, but that's really cutting it close. I needed to do 30 or more. Typically I did 40, unless things were really bad, but typically I did 40 or more. But I had to get up super early, and it would slow down by like 10, 11. And at that point, I have to make a decision. Am I going to continue? So I'd get lunch, and I'd usually go to like a Greek diner in the Chelsea, because this is when I was in the hotel. And I could get a breakfast special before noon. If it's 11, I could still get that special. $1.30, $1.50, cup of coffee, eggs, and home fries and toast, no meat. The breakfast special. You could find similar breakfast special all over Manhattan at the time. $1.25, $1.50. Price fluctuated. Some places it was less, some places it was more. Some places the food was good. Other places you had to guess what animal did that hair come from? What part of the body did that hair come from? You know, some places were horrible, some places were really good. Afternoon rush didn't start till sometime after lunch. So it behooved me just to stop working for an hour to 2 hours and rest. Maybe I gotta go do an errand. Maybe I gotta go to the bike shop to work on something, to fix something. You know, that's a great time to take care of something if you need to go tweak something on the bike. Maybe the company you work for has a bike shop, an account at a bike shop, and you can go there if you need some major stuff done. It goes on their account, and then they take it out of you in increments or something. Do I want to do that again? No. But yeah, red beans. They've always been around me. They always haven't been a part of everything about me. But now that I live down here, I tend to eat them more, and they are good. They are a part of the tradition around here, the culinary tradition. As you travel, there's another bean and another bean. Beans are good. But if I'm eating beans throughout the week, you might not want to get too close. So yeah, you're right. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel, and I will see you next time.